All right, let's go back in time to 2019 and talk about the Texans taking on the Kansas City Chiefs in what was probably not the greatest comeback of all time. I think 28-3 probably edges that out, but I do think this is the greatest first half of football of all time. Like just forget about comeback. Just in general, I think this was the most entertaining first half of football I have ever seen. Even going back and rewatching this, my mouth was on the floor at times. I was still stunned at how many huge plays happened in this. Let's get into it. Let's revisit the 24-0 first half comeback and what was one of the most unbelievable moments in football history. So we'll start off here. There was going to be a blown coverage by the Kansas City Chiefs, which led to the Texans' first touchdown. So, good stuff there by Houston. So now the Chiefs have to answer right off the bat. It's going to be a 3rd down and 6. And I'm going to be honest, as we go through this, we are not going to see a lot of good defense by the Houston Texans. Instead, something like this, where Mahomes takes the snap, he's going to find an open Travis Kelce, who decides to not catch the football and then punches the ground afterwards. That was a lot of what was happening, is, a mismatch we knew going into this game. The Texans had a really bad secondary. Usually that's great news for the Chiefs, but you got to be able to catch the football. So, okay. Down 7-0, the Chiefs have to punt the ball away, and that's where a bad situation would get worse. On the ensuing punt, it would be blocked and picked up and returned for a touchdown. Just like that, it is 14-0 Houston, which at this point you're not devastated if you're a Chiefs fan. You're bummed. That's a tough start against a team that's a good team. Texans were definitely very good this season, but still, you can come back from this, right? This is not the end of the world. It would, however, bring up a 3rd down and 5 situation. The Chiefs got the ball down the field relatively far, though. Get to the Texans' 45-yard line. So they're in position to try and score. And, as we kind of expect, could be a back-and-forth game. However, when Mahomes takes the snap, he's going to throw the ball to Robinson, who, once again, does not catch it. So instead of being able to pick up the first down, get in field goal range if nothing else, they decide to punt the ball away. I wonder if now, 6 years later, they go for it in this situation. But at the time, that would have been a very bold go-for-it call. They decide not to do it. However, you're going to see the Texans are punting here, as they did not get the ball that far down the field. I'm going to pause it right here because there's a bit more to set up. But, Texans not able to score on their drive. So, hey, Chiefs defense holding strong, which is not something we said a lot in these early Mahomes years with the Chiefs defense, although it was a lot better this year than it was the previous year. However, I want to take your attention to the punt returner here for the Kansas City Chiefs. This is Tyreek Hill, who was not their every punt returner. They would put him in specific situations when they felt like they needed to play. Hey, down 14-0, we need to play. Let's put Tyreek Hill in. The danger in doing that, well, he's not necessarily warmed up to doing this right now. As you see, he is going to botch the punt. He just drops it. The Houston Texans do recover, so now they're in great position to try and get the ball down the field. And so instead of getting the momentum of a big stop, you give the Texans the football. The Texans would be able to score a touchdown just 2 plays later, and just like that, it's 21-0. And you think about this 24-0 situation. I think a lot of people forget 14 of those points were essentially special teams miscues by Kansas City. On the Chiefs' following drive, well, it kind of was more of the same, as you're going to see a drop pass right here that might have been for the best, but then you would see this one, which is going to be, would have been a first down, but yet another drop pass. Finally, you will see a good defensive play by Justin Reed, actually, the guy who would eventually play for Kansas City, to break that one up. So I said not a lot of great defense by the Texans. Well, there was one good defensive play, but again, set up by 2 drops before then to help set up the good defensive play. So still, it's more of Kansas City beating themselves than Houston being able to, just shut them down. At this point, they showed the mascot being very upset about this situation, being down 21-0, still in the first quarter against the Houston Texans, which I have so many questions about this shot. Like, who is the guy who, why is there a camera there? Why does the broadcast team have access to it? Did the mascot know that the camera was here, and was he playing to the crowd, or was he just actually this upset and, shows his frustration in mascot language? I don't know what happened here, but this was a good showcase of the vibes here for the Kansas City Chiefs, as down 21-0, and the Texans would get into field goal range. So that brings us to here, and I'm going to pause it to set up the situation. It's a 4th down and 1. The Texans got to the 4th and 1, but they're going to try a field goal here for, inside the 15. This is one of those decisions that, I think even at the time it was questionable. I think, looking back on it now, basically no team ever kicks a field goal when they're inside their opponent's 15-yard line. But again, you can kind of understand what the Texans are thinking right here. There's 11 minutes left in the half. Let's go up what realistically is 4 scores. Yes, technically 24 is 3 scores if you get 3 2-point conversions, but that's realistically not going to happen. So basically making it a 4-score game. You shouldn't be thinking about scores this early on, but you can kind of understand the logic. The Texans kick the field goal. They're going to make it. And again, think about how much time I said. 11 minutes left in the second quarter, up 24-0. So if the Chiefs do have a push, you feel pretty good about being up like multiple scores. In fact, if at halftime, if you're the Chiefs, if you were only down 10, you'd probably feel great about that situation. But right now, you're not getting anything to happen. So what do? Well, the kickoff would go to a guy named Mecole Hardman. Yes, the touchdown catch in the Super Bowl, not the only big play he would have, where you see he kind of gets past the first group of Texans players right there. He is then going to go not the rest of the way. He does not get a touchdown, but he gets he actually stepped out of bounds right there, so ran a little bit more, which, hey, still kind of helped running a little bit more, get the crowd even more fired up, but steps out of bounds, gets into Houston territory right away, and I think just got the life back into the stadium. Again, Chiefs fans have taken a lot of slander recently due to some bandwagon fans that have hopped on just to cheer on Mahomes. But I do have to say, Chiefs fans, one of the best in the business. Their team's getting crushed. They're down 24-0. And the way the crowd would start cheering in this game, I actually made sure I listened to the broadcast. Usually I'll put on a podcast or something when I do these videos. I was just listening along. And the way the crowd got so amped up once this play happened, I think it kind of settled Kansas City down a little bit. And then Mahomes would happen, and then the Chiefs' offense would happen as they started catching. A big play from Travis Kelce there gets them inside the red zone. They would then have this play, kind of a good schemed up play. They get the touchdown, and I think it just made them feel like, okay, listen, we got a chance here. Yeah, got a big mountain to climb, but it's still one of those things where the offense has been working all game. They haven't been able to convert on it because they keep dropping passes, but the offense has been working, and it makes them feel like they have a good chance. On top of it, they would lead a 3-and-out on the very next possession. So, okay, 17-0, but let's go. Maybe we can get another score before the half, be down 10 or so. And this is where more Bill O'Brien question mark decision making comes in, where you can kind of defend the 4th down and 1 a field goal if you want to say, hey, we're up a lot, let's play conservative. But here, it's a 4th down and 4, and it's Justin Reid, again, a guy who has multiple championship rings with the Kansas City Chiefs. He is the key guy here as they are going to fake this punt, despite being deep in their own territory, despite being up 17 midway through the second quarter. Look at Daniel Sorensen. He's kind of all over this. He saw Reid in motion, and watch what happens. You see that the second that Reid gets the ball, Sorensen reads this. So Sorensen knows what's going on. So listen, Sorensen kind of got a lot of heat for how it ended in Kansas City. He kind of fell off a little bit and was considered more of a liability kind of his last year in Kansas City. But he'll always be a Kansas City hero for this play right here. Watch him be able to read it properly. He gets the immediate tackle. They do not pick up the first down on that play, and now you've just given some tough field position for your defense right after they give up a touchdown. Patrick Mahomes is trying to ride the momentum. He's throwing the ball deep down the field. Nearly threw a pick on the first play, but this one gets the pass interference penalty, so now they're going to get good position to try and get into the end zone. And what do you think happens? On this play, Patrick Mahomes takes the snap. He is going to eventually find Travis Kelce, who gets into the end zone for a touchdown. And just like that, it's a 14-point game, and there's still 8 minutes left. But again, for Houston, it's like, hey, you get the ball. Let's see what you can do with the 8 minutes left. Maybe get a long drive going, get some points of your own, right? Like it's not a disaster. Yeah, that was a tough sequence, but you're still up 10 points. But then this play happened, which this was again, if you already know that, I'm going to pause it in a second, but you already know that right here, if I'm showing a kickoff return, it's probably not great news. And you think about how many special teams plays have already happened here. For the life of me, I'm not sure what this Houston kick returner is doing, not protecting the football right here. He's about to almost intentionally run directly into a couple Kansas City players, and yet still not really protecting the football. The ball gets popped out and is caught on the fly, and like in a perfect way to create a momentum swing as well for the Chiefs, right? Where everyone in the crowd notices right away, hey, we just got the football. With how the ball popped out like that, they're able to, get the ball inside the red zone. And what do you think happened? Yes, of course, Patrick Mahomes on the run is going to once again find Travis Kelce, who gets into the end zone for a touchdown. And we keep talking about the time. I mean, with just under 11 minutes left, the Texans went up 24-0. We're now at 6.5 minutes left, and it's 24-21. I mean, what a swing in that short period of time. So many errors by Houston, and so many, good plays by the Kansas City Chiefs. Well, okay, now let's go over here. Next drive for the Texans. They get something going. I'm going to pause it right here. It's a 3rd and 12, but they got something going. They got past midfield, 3 minutes left. If they can just get the first down here, like you can at least, hopefully kill the rest of the clock and go into halftime feeling pretty good about yourself. You can score points potentially. That's how you're feeling. However, Watson is going to take the snap. He fires one in the direction of Hopkins, who cannot hang on. Good defense by Kansas City. And at this point, it almost just felt inevitable what the Kansas City Chiefs were going to do. Patrick Mahomes might have made his best play of the day on this one, the touchdown pass where he was not past the line of scrimmage. They get the touchdown on a 3rd down and goal and are able to go up in somehow, some way, in a situation with 11 minutes left in the second half, being down 24 points. They take the lead before the half even ends. And, I'm not even going to talk about the second half because we know what happened. The game ended right here. The game ended with this play. The rest was a formality as the Chiefs offense continued to roll in the second half and kind of dominate Houston. Just one of the more unbelievable moments in football history, I think. I mentioned the crowd earlier, but I'm not exaggerating when I say I have never seen a crowd shift like that. To go from so frustrated and so clearly devastated going down 24-0 to absolute just electricity going on in that crowd in the second quarter, just unbelievable. What a moment in football history. And again, if you've forgotten, this was before Mahomes had a ring, and this was Mahomes' first Super Bowl run, which would, as we now know, would be one of many. What a moment. But yeah, those are my thoughts on all of this. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.